year. So we were covering business strategy, how to deal with the competition. How we can deal with competition through a process called strategic process, strategic planning, how to make strategies, how to formulate strategies. Strategic process involves three interrelated sub-processes: strategic analysis, strategic choice, and strategic implementation. We have covered strategic analysis, we have covered strategic choice, and currently we are where in strategic implementation. Strategic implementation is also called strategic change or strategic action. In the strategy that we have chosen, that we have selected, we need to make changes according to that strategy. We need to perform action according to that strategy. Where we need to make changes according to that strategy, we need to make changes in organization structure, in organization structure, in organization culture, and we need to make changes in organization system, in processes. But before making changes to organization structure, culture, system, processes, we must be aware about these things. So structure, we can get knowledge through Mintzberg building block model. According to Mintzberg building block model, there are 5 elements of organization structure. Before making changes in structure, you must be aware about the elements where you want the change. Or structure wise, there are different types of organization. Organization could be simple structure, entrepreneurial organization. Only the leader and subordinates. There is no middle line. There is no techno structure, no support staff. Could be machine bureaucracy, highly formalized structure. Could be professional organization where operating core is having some power. Could be divisional organization where divisional managers are powerful. Could be ad hoc racy, highly informal structure where everybody working in a team. Or could be missionary where everybody is focusing on one cause, one mission. Before making changes, we must be aware about the culture, and culture we can find through cultural web model, mean how the culture look like. So there are 7 elements of culture. Or according to Handy, there are 4 types of culture. We have covered this. Power culture, role culture, task culture, people or person culture. Before making changes in system and processes, we must be aware about the system processes. What are system processes? Value chain, primary, secondary activities. We can represent system processes through a diagram called swim lane diagram, through which we can understand the system. We can highlight the weaknesses so that we can prepare plan how to remove those weaknesses. How these system processes can be developed using project management, that we're gonna cover today. So strategic implementation means making changes in the organization structure, culture, system, or performing action outside the organization. Strategic implementation, we need to make changes, not only in structure, culture, system. We need to make changes in our function, business function as well. We need to change our functional strategies as well. Because if business functions are not working as per top management strategy, ultimately business will not be able to achieve its objective properly. So what are the functional strategies that we need to look at whether there is any change required or not? We need to look at IT function strategies. We need to look at marketing function strategies. We need to look at HR function strategies, and we need to look at finance function strategies, whether their strategies are aligned with business strategies or not. If we want to make changes in structure, culture, system, processes, these changes is not an easy process that you have started and you have changed everything. No, change is not an easy process. Change is always painful. There are some hurdles. There are some obstacles that we need to manage. If we are not managing the hurdles, obstacles, problems, resistance of people, will not be able to implement changes effectively. So that's why we should follow some management of change model. If we are not following the appropriate management of change models, ultimately we will not be able to manage the change. We will fail in implementing change. And if we failed in implementing change, position could be even more worst. How to manage the change? There are different models. One need called Levin's three-stage model. According to Levin's, if you are going to make changes happen in the organization, you should change in three stages. First, you should unfreeze, prepare the people for change. Move, involve the people in the change. Unfreeze, implement the change with control measures, reward system so that people should not be going back to the old system again. How we can manage change? We can manage change through Levin's force field analysis. Universal model of change. In a change process, there are two forces involved, driving force, restraining force. And if you want to make changes happen, you need to strengthen the driving force, weakening the restraining force against change. How? Find the reason for the resistance. Job related factors, social factor, or personal factors, and adopt any of the change management strategy, education, facilitation, participation, negotiation, manipulation, power, coercion. In change management, we can follow Blogen and Hope matrix. According to Blogen and Hope matrix, you need to identify your change strategy, whether you are moving for adoption, reconstruction, evolution, or revolution. And revolution is very high risk. If you need a transformational change, try to prefer evolution rather than revolution. In change management, if we are going to change the culture of the organization, we need to focus contextual factors as well. 8 contextual factors as per B&H. But if we want to change business processes, in business process change, we need to follow Harmon's matrix. Or we can follow Poppit model. Poppit, also called 4 views model. So let's discuss this Harmon's matrix. Then we will cover one more good question on swim lane. And after that, we will move towards examiner favorite area, project management. So let's discuss Harmon's matrix. Harmon's business process change. So according to Harmon, if you are going to change business processes system, you need to focus on two factors. One is the strategic importance of that process. And other is complexity and dynamism. Strategic importance could be low, could be high. What does it mean by strategic importance? Strategic importance mean whether those processes are strategically high important, mean your primary activities, your core activities, your main activities. Or strategic importance low mean not primary activities, secondary or support activities, non-core activities that you can even outsource. Strategic importance high mean your main activities in which you are expert, the main survival of your business, primary activities. And strategic importance low, not main activities. These are support activities. Even we can perform from others. We are not expert in that. Somebody else could be expert. And we need to focus on complexity and dynamism that could also be low or high. Complexity and dynamism high mean this process is too complex, too problematic. There are so much variations happen in the process on routine basis. It is becoming out of our control. It's too complex. There are so many issues. If there are less issues, it is not that much complex, it's simple. We can tackle it easily. If once we have streamlined everything for some years, everything will be fine because the changes do not happen quickly in that process. This means complexity dynamism is low. And from here we got this 2x2 matrix. Strategic importance high low, complexity dynamism high low. Those processes where strategic importance is high mean your main activities, primary activities, core activities, and complexity dynamism is also high. Means there are too much problems. These things are going out of control. What we need to do, we need to redesign. Redesign using BPR. BPR stands for business process redesign. What does mean by that? Use of IT. Those processes which are strategically high important, your primary activities, main core activities, survival of your business. And you are unable to tackle them because there is a high complexity, high dynamism. So what you need to do, you need to move towards IT solutions. If your processes are manual, move towards IT. If they are IT based, move towards a high IT solution. This is called BPR, mean converting manual into IT based, mean transformational change is required here. If they are manual, move towards IT, Microsoft Excel. If they are already on Microsoft Excel, move towards Peachtree Tally. If they are already on Peachtree Tally, move towards SAP Oracle. In high IT solution, change everything from scratch. Try to change everything. Design them again so that you will be able to resolve the complex issues. Why we need to change everything? Because they are strategically highly important. Without them, we will not be able to survive. Primary activities. Could be sale, could be purchase, could be production. The process which are strategically low important, but complexity dynamism high, as they are not strategically important. So what we can do, we can outsource, we can ask the other who are expert in that, please perform them so that we can focus on our strategically high important processes. We can get rid of these issues. We can reduce our headache. So we should outsource to experts because they are not strategically important. They are secondary activities, support activities. So we can outsource. The processes where strategic importance is low, complexity dynamism is also low. We need to automate them. Automate means try to find out the issue, what's the issue, and resolve it. This is what automate. But if to automate, there is more cost required. And they are what secondary activities, support activities do not provide that much benefit. If cost is more, then on cost benefit analysis, you can outsource them as well. If by incurring a small cost, you can align them, you can automate them, then move towards automation. But if to automate, to align them, there is more cost required as they are secondary activities, do not provide that much benefit to the organization. So outsource these as well. So that we can focus on strategically high importance processes mean our primary activities, core activities, main activities. The processes where strategic importance is high, primary activities, but complexity dynamism is low. What we need to do must automate. How? Using ERP, enterprise resource planning, plan the resources, how we can manage them. Because these are our main activities. We need to manage them. There is no survivor if you don't manage them. So there are lesser issue, lower complexity dynamism. So we must automate using ERP. We should focus on TQM, stands for total quality management. What is total quality management? Try to focus on quality from supplier, input, process, output, and customer at every level. Focus on quality from supplier to customer at every level. Supplier, make sure supplier is sending you high quality goods, high quality material. Input that is going into the process should be of high quality, not only material, labor is also an input. They must be highly skilled, they must be trained, they must be competent, experienced. Your process should also be high quality, not manual, computerized, machine based. And your output should also be high quality, mean perform proper testing of the finished products. If there are defective units, put them on a site. And your customer services should also be of high quality, treat the customer happily, deliver the products to the customer on time. Try to take feedback from the customer, what he wants, try to deliver that. Keep him happy. So total quality management, we need to focus on quality from supplier, input, process, output, customer at each level. Why? Because these are strategically highly important processes, our main activities. So we need to manage them. Though there are lesser complexity dynamism, but we need to manage them. Otherwise, we'll not be able to survive. So according to Harman's matrix, if you require any change in business processes, how we can manage that change, what strategies we should adopt to manage that change. So there are 4 strategies: redesign, outsource, automate, in fact, 3 strategies. So processes that are strategically high important and there is a high complexity dynamism, we should redesign them using BPR, business process redesign, or business process re-engineering. Business process redesign or business process re-engineering. mean use of IT. If they are manual, convert to computerized. If they are already computer IT based, move towards high IT solutions. Strategic importance low but high complexity dynamism, kick off, outsource, ask other to perform because you are not expert in that. Strategic importance low, dynamism low, try to automate. But if to automate require more cost, on cost benefit analysis, outsource. And strategic importance high but complexity dynamism low, must automate using ERP enterprise resource planning, and focus on TQM, total quality management from supplier to customer at each level. This BPR is what? Business process re-engineering. BPR stands for business process re-engineering. It's also called business process redesign. BPR. It's also called business process improvement. BPI. It's also called business process management. BPM. The same concept having different name. BPR, BPM, BPI. Mean use of IT. How a business can move towards BPI? There are some stages involved. There are some stages involved. Stages of BPR. Plan, analyze, redesign, development, and transition. There are 5 stages of BPR: plan, analyze, redesign, development, and transition. Plan means identify the issues. We are going to change our processes. First, identify what are the issues in the current system, current processes that we need to overcome. Because if you're not aware about the issues, ultimately might be you will be having the same issues in the new system as well. So first, identify the issues. Analyze, look for different options to resolve those issues. And against each option, perform cost benefit analysis. In select one, if you are moving towards IT, like we are managing our manual accounting system. Now we are moving towards BPR, mean IT. In manual, there are so many issues. There are arithmetic error issues. There are documentation recording issues. There are delays as well. We need to put more staff to manage task on time. So these are the issues. So we are moving towards computerized so that there shouldn't be any arithmetic error issue. Things will be updated automatically. Just we need to enter the entry. Even one person is enough for data entry. Everything else will be done by the software. So what options we are having? We are having Microsoft Excel option. We are having Peachtree option. We are having Tally option. We are having Zoho Books option. We are having SAP. We are having Oracle. So we need to see cost benefit of each option according to our organization size. Which software fit in our organization size and what are the costs of each option. Select one. And the one you have selected, redesign. Redesign means perform some paperwork. How we can implement, what time it will require, who will implement, what are the stages of implementation, and then move towards development. Development means installation of system, computer, software, training of the staff. Because before they were working in manual, now they need to work on computerized system. So we need to train them. If they are unable to work on computer system, ultimately might be we need to recruit new staff. And then final stage was transition. Transition means implement the new system plus control measures, supervision, monitoring, so that this system should work properly, should be implemented effectively. If there is no control measures, no supervision, no monitoring, system will not work properly. Might be after some time, employee will be moving back to their old system. So this is what a BPR, business process reengineering: plan, analyze, redesign, development, and transition. Let's move towards one more question. Institute of Analytical Accountants. Institute of Analytical Accountants, we are having this question. There is a swim lane diagram. Underneath detail of that diagram, and there are two requirements, requirement A and requirement B. Before moving towards these requirements, let's discuss one more topic. Type of software. We'll cover from notes. Yes. Type of software. If we are moving towards computerized system, this means we are going to use any of the software. The software are of mainly two types. One is called bespoke, also called tailor-made, also called custom built, or also called customized. Mean the software that we have developed from any of the software house company for the requirement of our business. That is designed especially for our business. Might be nobody else is using this software, because we have developed this by paying a development cost to any of the software house. The other software that are readily available in the market in series, we can buy, install, and use Microsoft Excel. We don't need to ask software house to develop for ourselves. P3 Tally, readily available, are called packages off the shelf. They were placed on the shelf and we removed and installed and used. Also called generic in general. What are the benefits and problems associated with these type of software? There could be issue of cost. The packages generic will be cheaper. Even we can download online free. While bespoke, we need to pay the cost to the software house. There could be some implementation time. Like generic, we can immediately buy from the market, install, and using from today. But bespoke, we need to ask to the software house. They will take time to develop the software in any of the programming language, so not be able to implement quickly. What else? There should be staff training issues. The generic they might have used in their past experience, might be they have studied the software during their study. Like you VCCA people are aware how to use Word, how to use Excel a little bit. Not in much detail, but a little bit at least. You can perform calculation because you people are solving numeric papers on Excel sheet now. But these bespoke tailor-made stuff haven't seen before. So they need training. Without training, they will not be able to use. What else could be issue? What else could be factor that we need to consider? Advantages, disadvantages. So advantage of packaging is cheap. Disadvantage of bespoke is costly. Advantage of package we can implement immediately, but disadvantage of bespoke, it requires some development time. Advantage of package don't need require staff training, and disadvantage of bespoke required staff training. In all three are disadvantages of bespoke. Is there any advantage of bespoke? Requirement. Bespoke will be covering all the requirements of the business because it is designed specifically for your business. You have provided your requirement. These things we want. But packages might not be covering all your business requirement because this is designed general. Might be your business operations are too complex and this system is not used everywhere. What else could be advantage of bespoke? Compactive advantage. Nobody else will be using that software that you are using. Might be you have developed a highly innovative solution from any of the software house and your competitor are using packages, mean their software is not that much effective for the business than your software. What else? So we can discuss some advantages and disadvantages of both. There is some selection criteria as well. Meanwhile, choosing between packages or generic, we need to focus on certain factors. We need to focus on cost. We need to focus on time. What else? In which software we should select? We should focus on time. We should focus on cost. What else? We should focus on supplier. If generic is available, who is the supplier? If the Microsoft, it will be fine. But if not Microsoft, any ABC company software would not be that much reliable. We need to focus on some ethical issues as well. The generic software is available, but who is providing any of the software company? Their name is good, their repute is good. But suppose that software supplier is based from Russia or based from Israel, so there could be some ethical issues because due to war, people don't prefer to buy Russian goods. In some countries, Russian goods are banned. If you are using that, might be you will be losing your customer. Due to war between Palestine and Israel, some Islamic countries don't prefer to use products of Israel. And if you are buying products from Israel, there could be some customer issues that we need to focus on. Ethical mean whether this decision will be acceptable or not. Ethical mean acceptable behavior. What else we should focus in selection criteria? Data protection as well, means security as well. Whether our data will be secured or not. So these things we can discuss general. So moving back towards our question. Institute of Analytical Accountant. My question. Yeah, it's there. So there are two requirements of the question, requirement A for 15 marks and requirement B for 10 marks, altogether 25 marks question. So just focus on requirement A first. The IAA, Institute of Analytical Accountant, would like to consider a number of redesign options, ranging from very simple improvement to radical solution. Very simple improvement, we can say what? Automate. The level at which the system is, you need to change things at that level by sorting out its issues. While radical solution means BPR, use of IT. If manual, move towards computerized. If already computerized, move towards a high IT solution. Very radical, simple improvements mean if manual, try to manage things while keeping it manual. If computerized on any of the software, try to manage things by keeping at that software. Don't move towards high IT solution. So the IAA would consider a number of redesign options ranging from very simple improvements to radical solutions. Identify a range of redesign options. These two that they have stated. The IAA could consider for improving their question handling process. And there is a question handling process change. Evaluate the benefit of each option, and you need to discuss the benefits of each option as well. And there is some process information given, mean simulation diagram given. We need to highlight the issues. First, we need to provide recommendation to resolve issues at the same level. And next, we need to provide recommendation by using any of the highly innovative IT solution. I mean, we need to provide two solution, either simple improvement, the level at which the system is, and second, using BPR. But first, we need to understand the system. So let's read the scenario. The Institute of Analytical Accountant, IAA, offers a 3 certification program, which are assessed through examination using MCQs. So they are offering 3 certification program. Like ACCA, they are offering 3 certification program. ACCA, FIA, Diploma in IFRS. Is that? So these questions are maintained in a computerized question bank. We are attempting any CV paper. Every student is having a different question. Some questions are similar as well. Yes, they face some question 1, 2 similar as well. Why? Because ACCA have maintained, suppose, 1,000 question database, and the system randomly selecting 50 questions from that database and assigning to one student, randomly selecting 50 questions from that database, assigning to other students. That's why they are having different questions. But some questions, 1, 2 could be similar because all the questions are coming from where? One database. Like this. So this company is also offering 3 certificate program. Testing is through MCQs, and they have maintained a computerized question bank database from where they provide question randomly to the students during exam. The handling process for these questions is documented in figure 1 and described in details below. The IAA is currently analyzing all its process, seeking possible business process redesign opportunities. I mean, they are focusing on redesigning the process. It is considering commissioning a bespoke computer system to support any agreed redesign of the business process. The IAA is keen to implement a new solution fairly quickly Can they implement bespoke quickly? Bespoke quickly? No, bespoke, you need to design from any software house that require design time. You cannot implement quickly. Packages generic, you can implement quickly. Because competitors are threatening to move into their established market. That's why they need to change the system quickly. Once the competitors enter into the market, then things will be difficult to manage. Okay. So this is the diagram. Before moving towards reading English, first look at the lanes. What are the lanes? Author lane is there. Who is author? Who writes something. Education lane is there. Might be this education department in the institute. Administration, this we know, this is a department. Finance, this is department. Reviewer, what does it mean by reviewer? Examiner or review of study material as well, review of the syllabus as well, review of the books as well. It's an author is writing something, so reviewer might be reviewing. Yeah. So let's see what's going on. Author submit question for the question bank. Who is designing questions? Author. He is a submit to the education department. What they are doing? They are selecting reviewer. What reviewer is doing? He is reviewing a question first. Whether this question is of examination level or not, according to the student level, relevant to the current syllabus or not, covering this syllabus or not. Like a PM question, level should be lower than APM questions. Is that? MA question level should be lower than PM or FM. FA question level should be lower than FR or SVR. So author designing the question, submitting to the education department, they are selecting a reviewer and submitting to the reviewer, please review this. And what happening now then? Reviewer, after reviewing, is sending question back to education. They record first review outcome. And based on that outcome, either the question will be accepted or the rejected, or they are asking to the author for revise. And after that, if it is going to be revised, author again submitting the question to education after revision. Education, they are selecting reviewer. Now the second review outcome, reviewers sending to education. They are two options. We don't know what's going on after that. It's too complex to understand. But we at least understood there are some lanes of author: education, administration, finance, and reviewer. Education, administration, finance, we know these are the departments. Who is author? We got some idea. Who is reviewer? We got some idea. Let's read the English. We need to highlight the issues and provide recommendation at this level. Then we should provide recommendation using BPR, mean ID solutions. The author, the question originator, submit the question to the IAA as a password protected document attached to an email. So he is sending through password protected document email the question to IAA. The education department of the IAA, which is staffed by subject matter expert, select an appropriate reviewer and forward the email to him or her. At no point in the process does the author know the identity of the reviewer. That's why they are not asking author to send directly to reviewer. They are selecting reviewer so that the author reviewer should not be having any direct relation with each other. Otherwise, all questions will be accepted. That's why the question is coming to education department. They are selecting reviewer and sending question to reviewer for review. A copy of the email is sent to the administration department. where administrators enter the question in a standard format into a computerized question bank. Have you received the reviewer outcome? And you have sent to the administrator, put into the question bank. If they enter into the question bank, how? Through typing. They need to enter into the question bank. They have entered into the question bank and reviewer saying reject it. What you will do? First, you will find that question from the question bank. Then you will delete. All the time cost behind entering, finding, deleting will be wasted. Cost, time. So first issue. Questions are going to be entered into the question bank without the reviewer outcome. What's the issue? You are wasting time of entering into the question bank, then finding and deleting. So this will be huge cost. What should be the recommendation? The question should be sent to administration department for entering into question bank only after the reviewer accepted outcome. Only after the reviewer accepted outcome. If he is saying rejected, simply reject. Don't need to send to administrator. Keep it with you. Throw it or return back to author. Keep your question. We don't need it. Is that the first issue I've identified? Okay. These administrators are not subject matter expert. Wow. And sometimes make mistake when entering the question and answer. Oh my God. Mistake. If they are making mistake while entering question into the question bank, who will be the ultimate sufferer? Student. They will be having wrong question in the exam center. What will be the result? They will fail. If any of the good students sitting over there, he identified the question is wrong, he can claim for damages. I failed because your questions was wrong. I paid the fee. I spent the time. Everything is lost. Organization will be paying damages for that. So what we should do? We should train these rascals. If they need any training, we should train them so that there shouldn't be any mistake. And they are not subject matter expert. So we should appoint some subject matter expert people, or we should make them expert through training. We can recruit, or this task can be assigned to education department because they are what? Subject matter expert. What they are doing, just transferring question one place to another. So what's the purpose of having subject matter expert? So this task should be assigned to education department. For that might be they require some extra staff because their role responsibility is going to be increased. So that extra staff we can provide them. Could be having some cost as well. But at least this mistake in entering question could be solved. Two issues. Okay. A research spot check identified that 1 in 10 questions contain an error. Oh my God, 10% wrong question they are entering. 10% wrong. And student result affect you to 1.5%. Furthermore, there is a significant delay in entering a question. Oh my God, delay in entering question. Might be there is new topics introduced in the syllabus. You have delivered them the question to enter into the question bank. Might be the very next day you are going to test the student according to new syllabus. But those questions have not been entered into the question bank. This could also affect the student testing system. Is that? So what should be there? These delays should be identified. What's the reason? Whether there is a shortage of staff, provide them more staff, or If the staff is enough, but still there is a delays, you need to identify the issues and resolve it. Although 5 administrators are assigned to this task, they also have other duties to perform. And so a backlog of questions has built up. Administrators are paid less than education staff. If we are assigning tasks to education department for entering into the computer, so there could be high cost, but that cost will be lesser than the problems that our organization is facing. 3 issues we have identified. We have explained them. We have provided recommendation against them. This is what simple improvement. We'll put the heading simple improvement. First issue, we'll explain. From next line, we'll provide recommendation for that. Or we can prepare a table. Second issue, we will explain, and in next line, we'll provide its recommendation separate. Third issue, we will explain, and in next line, we'll provide its recommendation. The reviewer decide whether the question should be accepted as it is, rejected completely, or returned to the author for amendments. There are 3 outcomes: accepted, rejected, or revised, returned. The first review outcome is recorded by the education department before the administration department update the database with whether the question was accepted or rejected. Accepted means do nothing, already entered, fine. Rejected, now find from the question bank and then delete. But that issue we have already highlighted. On some occasions, it is not possible to find the question which need to be updated. Why? Because it is still in the backlog of question waiting to be entered into the system. That issue we have already highlighted. This causes further delays and frustration. The finance department is notified of all accepted questions and a payment notification is raised, which eventually leads to a check being issued and sent to the author. And whatever the questions are accepted, education department inform the finance, they raise the check and send to the author. This is your payment for accepted question. The amended question is returned by the author to the education department. The amended where amendments is required, revision is required. Who forward this on to the reviewer? A copy is again sent to administration department so that they can amend the question held on the database. Now again, before the reviewer outcome, you are going to amend the question in the system. And if reviewer said rejected, the time first entry of the question, then revised, changing the question, then finding from the database and removing the huge time and cost business is what losing. This cost could affect profitability of the organization. So number 4, again, before reviewer outcome, you are amending the system into the database. This should be amended, even entered into the system after the review outcome, not before. On second review, the question is accepted or rejected. There are 2 options. There is no option for amendment now. Rejected questions, irrespective of when they are rejected, are notified to the finance department, who raise a rejection notification and sent it back to the author. There's be no payment for these questions because these are rejected. Currently, 20% of questions are immediately rejected by the reviewer, on first review outcome, and 15% are sent back to the author for revision. Only 65% are accepted on first review outcome. This means 35% question you are entering into the question bank that need to be changed or removed. Of these, 30% are rejected on the second review. 30% or 15%? 5. This means 25% questions are rejected that you have entered into the question bank. Now you are finding and removing them. So this is huge cost. So 4 issues we can identify and we can provide their recommendation. This is what simple improvement. Now we will put the heading radical solution. We can say it BPR. What business need to do now? This business need to implement our software. Is that they should develop a bespoke software from any of the software house according to their requirement. Or they can find if any other similar body is using any software, they can take a copy if they need quickly. And there should be some facilities in the software. What should be the facilities? The author, instead of sending email, he should be given a login password of the software so that he can access the software while sitting at his location and enter the question into the software. He's sending you through email while typing. So you can simply type into the software directly. If he is typing into the software, there will be no need for these administration department mistake errors. Because if he is typing, ultimately he will type correctly because he's expert. Even there's nobody more expert than him. Is that after entering into the system, the reviewer should access the system through login ID password, review the question online in the software. You don't need to send him an email again. He will access the software and see the question, review online, and after review, he should press either of 3 buttons, one of 3 buttons: accept, reject, revise. While pressing the accept, the question should be submitted to question bank, added to question bank by the software. By pressing the reject, question should be removed from the system, and software should inform to the author your question number is rejected. And while pressing the revise, the question should be flagged, should be highlighted for the author to revise so that he can access the software using his login ID and revise, change the question. Is that the question that are accepted by the system moving towards not only question bank, there should be some information through the system to the finance department so that they can make payment. All issues resolved. There will be no backlog. There will be no error issue. Is that? And there will be no question entering into the question bank before the reviewer. Only after reviewer pressing button accepted, it will be moving towards question bank. BPR. For this, we need to write down lines, paragraph. We need to explain what software will do, how it will perform. 15 good marks. 15. So moving towards part B of the question. Before part B requirement, there is a small paragraph. Eventually, the IAA decided not to develop a bespoke solution, but to use an established software package to implement its multiple choice question management and examination requirement because they need to implement quickly. The selected package is chosen from a short list of 3, includes the delivery of test, question analysis, student invoicing, and students record. It is already used by several significant examination board in the country. Explain advantages of fulfilling user requirement using software packages solution, and discuss the implication of this solution for process redesign at IA. What are the advantages that we have discussed? Cost will be cheaper. Time, organization need to implement immediately because competitors are threatening to enter into the market, so they need to change quickly. So time will be lesser as compared to bespoke. What else? No staff training is required because staff will be aware about it. What else? Requirement, no, that is disadvantage. What else could be the advantage? Cost, time, training. What else could be the advantages? Using packages. Using packages, not bespoke. Cheaper, quickly implemented, training. What else we can say? Tried and tested. Because the bespoke, initially there are some chances of bugs, some chances of errors that require some time to highlight and resolve. But if the software is already developed, so it is tried and tested, means its bugs, its errors has already been removed, already highlighted and removed. So there will be lesser chances of errors. And we need to discuss implication of this. Implication mean there will be no competitive advantage. Other competitors are also using this. It might not recover all the requirement of the business. What else? There will be no future updates will be there. Future updates will be there. For bespoke, there will be no updates. For packages generic, there will be updates. Yeah. But at least the packages, their updates are coming automatically from the supplier. The bespoke you have done by yourself. To update, you need to pay to the software house. What else? Main advantages we can discuss. Updates will be there in case of future. It will be more secure as well. Security issue will be there because tried and tested. So ultimately, it will be secure. Or we can discuss security issue here because we are using software any of the supplier. They are having control over the software. So our data could be hacked, could be leaked because bespoke will be under our control. Even it will not be online connected. These packages sometime online connected. So this security issue we can discuss over there. 10 marks, we need to discuss 5 points, that's fine. So we have practiced 2 good questions on swim lane diagram. What is swim lane diagram? There is a diagram given. You need to try to understand this diagram by looking at it, different flow of data, looking at the lanes while reading the English. What we need to do, just need to highlight the issues and providing recommendation. This is what swim lane diagram. Examiner will not ask to draw this. It will be available in the question. We need to understand the system through this diagram, highlight the weakness and providing recommendation. Mainly highlighting weaknesses, providing recommendation. Some of the weaknesses will be stated straight away in the question. Like in this question, there were some weaknesses stated straight away. There's a backlog. There are chances of errors. They are entering before review outcome. So we can identify and discuss recommendation. You don't need break in it. Yeah, exactly. This is similar like a double A. Audit and assurance paper, sale, purchase, wages system, inventory system, weaknesses, highlighting and providing recommendation mean controls. So similar like that. So let's take a break for 20 minutes. Then we're gonna start the new topic, that is project management. Can you inform me after class? I need to start the